Okay. Says we're live. Excellent. Wahaha. Okay, so update to mom's car troubles yesterday. We I don't know if mom called first or they called her, but anyway, they called and said it was indeed the battery. But the mom also needed an oil change. She was like 1,000 miles overdue. Um, so yeah, so they went ahead and got her new battery, changed the oil. Um, and so I, about just before noon, drove over to the other side of town to drop her off at the dealership slash workshop that they have. So as we were pulling into their parking lot, they called her and were like, "It's ready to be picked up." She's like, "Great timing." So so she officially has her car back and supposedly all good, better than it was. New battery, new oil. So she's happy. And she's gonna go off to do her shopping. So I came back. I did drop off one thing at the UPS doing the Amazon return that I missed the UPS store's closing hours by about 20 minutes. Whenever that was, yesterday. No, Saturday. Um, so dropped that off. Yay. And then I came back. Excellent. So, how we doing? I still have not had my coffee. My full mug of coffee is still here. Because I was like, if I try and drink this before I go driving around town, might spell bad news bears for having to stop additional times. But anyway. Now I am back and I feel like it's safe to drink, even though it's like very room temperature now. But yeah, so mom's car saga has finally finished, hopefully. She was threatening that if we were going to have it towed to the dealership and we got there, like if this would have been a hypothetical if we had gotten there while the dealership was open and we were just like, wasting time, we could look around for a new car for her. But we do not appear to have to, so that's good. So yay, cheers. You love the mug. Oh, thank you. This is actually the back of the mug. The back of the mug is plain. The front of the mug has flowers and stems. I just always have the flowers towards me, I guess. But yeah, it's the brown on the inside and the green tealy turquoisey-ish color on the outside. So yeah, it's a good mug. It's a large mug too, which makes me happy. Anyway, Keiko says, "Hi, hello, welcome. You're joining later. You have to dry the dishes. Very important, yes. But you also turned out this morning. Also turned out this morning that you don't have to work today. Yay! Except you probably got up and got ready for it. So, oh well. Stacy says hello. Hello. Welcome. Becca is here. Hello. Hello. Megan is here. Hello. You're on your phone for now. Excellent. This is where Becca was commenting on the mug. Yes. Shadowslar says hello, y'all. Hello. CB says hello. Hello. You worked on school all morning, so you decided you're going to use this stream to focus solely on rewrites, and packing will be for the afternoon. Nice. I love that. Sort of dividing up your day. Yes, love that. Love the earrings. Me too. They just make me happy every time I put them on. So, yes. Definitely an investment piece, but I think it's worth it for sure. So as long as I take care of them and don't like try and brush my hair for whatever reason while these are in, because these would definitely make that a little difficult. Yes, the flowers on the mug make it even better. Yes. Yes, yes. So my sister-in-law found these really pretty ceramic, more traditional sort of like, I don't know if they're Japanese or Chinese, but like tea mugs. And they are still, I think, bigger than the traditional tea mugs for sure. But they're very nice and reminiscent. Some of the flowers are look similar to the flowers on this mug. So more mugs from my collection. That also means because I will have to go through the mugs and find some to donate so that I have room for the ones that I want to add to the collection. So, CB says, I'm watching Captain America Civil War. Excellent. Fun, fun. Becca pulled the mouse today. Focus, pay attention, handle one thing at a time, honor your perceptions. I feel like dividing up your day will help that. I think so too. Diane is puttering in the corner. Hopefully the corner could use some puttering then. It's going to take you the whole day to pack all of your mugs that you collect them to. Yeah. Well, it's the 4 mugs that my sister-in-law found for me are, they came in a very nice box. And so I'm contemplating keeping the box. Even though I shouldn't, because I know better. I already have a box for my actual like sake cups, and those have not seen some use in a while. But yeah, so like I don't need to keep the box for everything, but yeah, but it's very tempting too. CB says, I ran an errand earlier and met a very nice lady with her dog who she was obedience training the dog. Dog came over to you, but you didn't pet it. You said nope. Yeah, if they are learning to be obedience, if they are learning obedience training, it is best not to interfere and give reward type things, which would be like either pets or treats or whatever. So yeah, if they're in the midst of training, it is a good idea not to do so. So, at least if you are not the one doing the training. So, that is what I understand anyway, because I have never obedience trained a dog, but I have watched, and I have been around people who have dogs who are not trained, or dogs who are half trained, or dogs that have to be retrained. So, yeah. Anyway, I did not crochet any more yesterday, but I did. So I have gotten to the 4th big skein. So here is the width that it is now, which is relatively significant. So the idea for this is that you will have a mirrored pattern. So I have, let's see, from this side, I have 2 skeins of this color variant. So it's 1 and then 2. And then I have let's see, from about here over is 1 skein of this type, this is the second. So essentially this will then be mirrored. So I'll have another stripe of this sort of more brown tone, and then I will have 2 more of the green, yellow, orange, gray skeins on the other side. So it will double its width in the colors that I currently have. So I do have skeins that are like solid color that match some of the colors in there. So I could make it bigger after that, but I'm going to see what it looks like once I've got those in there. We're going to see what it looks like. So, but yeah. CB has helped with obedience training a dog before, Border Collie. Border Collies are supposedly really, really smart. And your friend, neighbor / the dog's owner taught you that. Yeah. Yeah. CB says bubble wrap, newspaper, and brown paper are your best friends for packing mugs. Maybe take the mugs to the new apartment personally, just in case. Yeah, you think you might do that. Too many times movers have broken things. Yeah. Yeah, there are some things that it's like I would rather transport myself, like electronics for sure. And like fragile memorabilia. Yeah. But like the big pieces of furniture that like I cannot move, yeah, they can move those. They can move those. Or things that like I don't want to be responsible for like hauling them around a corner stairwell type of thing, or in and out doors and that kind of stuff. So yeah. Yeah, there are certain items that you own that should go with you on the day of. Yeah. Yeah. Movers are coming Monday, so you have the whole weekend to bring over the important stuff. What is today? Today's 19th, right? Yes. Okay. Yeah. 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 And you have the keys. So you have, right? You picked up the keys on Friday, or you picked them up this Friday? Now I'm confused. Now I've confused myself. I'm sorry. Stacy says, I lost a mug while moving. You loved that mug. 6 months later, you were at the old place right before we sold it after the remodels. There it was. Yay, you still have the mug. It's purple. That's amazing. I felt really bad because I had like used the newspaper and wrapped stuff. And Mom has a collection of very nice porcelain or ceramic stuff, including teapots, tea mugs, and some pieces that go with them. And one of the pieces is I think it's a sugar jar. It has a lid to it, and the lid broke because either apparently I didn't wrap it well enough or whatever, but the lid broke, and I felt really bad. It's adorable. It's really cute. And it was one of the ones that she had usually put sort of like in the front of the display cabinet. And I felt really bad. And she's like, well, we'll just use it as a pencil mug. So now it's like living on our buffet as a pencil mug. I'm like, okay, well, I still feel bad, but still. CB says, when I moved the last time, you moved your printer and some other stuff yourself and put it under the sink. That moving it yourself is a good idea. I don't know that I would have chosen the sink because I'm too afraid of the sinks leaking. Yeah, Becca says, I get the nerd. I like half read your next comment, so apologies. You get the keys this Friday. Okay, so you get the keys this Friday, and you have this weekend to pack the last of the stuff, and then the movers are coming next Monday. Okay, gotcha. You have a bunch of nerdy tea sets as well that you're bringing over yourself. R2D2, TARDIS, Darth Vader, etc. Yes. So speaking of nerddoms, my brother, one of the things he had ordered for himself for Christmas, I say ordered, but he backed a Kickstarter for there's an engineer, I think he's an engineer, that is determined to make a real lightsaber, and has the blueprints to do so, etc. Like theoretically should work. But in order to make the prototypes and whatnot, they need a good bit of money. So they did a Kickstarter to do miniature lightsabers that are little plasma cutters. And so he had back to Kickstarter, and like that was his Christmas present to himself, was this lightsaber plasma cutter. And it was, I'm trying to remember. I think it was scheduled to arrive when he was visiting us in November. And so he had to call my sister-in-law and be like, "Hey, there's supposed to be a package today. Do not let the kids open it, touch it, see it." So yeah. So I need to ask him to FaceTime me and show me, because that would be fun. But yeah, that was his one of his Christmas presents to himself. So but yeah. Nerddoms unite, right? CB says, I made sure the shelf was dry. Okay, yeah, good. You used the big deep cupboard in the hallway to store other stuff. Gotcha. Also, the printer was tightly bound in bubble wrap. That definitely helps. Yeah, I don't understand it. I don't understand the science behind it. My brother would definitely understand more of it, but it is it's a plasma cutter somehow, and they made it. So yeah. Stace says, I just bought 3 old Rainbow Bright books. Ooh, that I now have outward facing on my bookshelves. I need to move them, but I was just so excited to get them. Fair enough. Absolutely, you should display them. Yes, I would agree. I would, like, I don't even know. I don't even know. I don't know if it's Hacksmith Industries. It might be. Yes, I think it is. So if you want to look up the lightsaber stuff, and there's like a whole lots of like blogs and videos and articles and whatnot, but I think it's Hacksmith Industries. So if you're interested. But yeah. CB says, well, the apartment I was going to was ground floor with exposed windows, so you needed somewhere to put it that wasn't visible. Okay, this makes sense. Yes. Yunjai, hello! Welcome! You're back from the dead. Welcome back to the land of the living. Becca says, okay, I'm watching the YouTube video now about this insane lightsaber. Yeah. Yeah. Diane has decided to reorganize all of your books. Want to come do mine? Want to come do mine? CB says, I should put the laundry on and clean the kitchen, but I want to write. Well, in that case, you could always do one sprint of like sorting the laundry and throwing it in the machine, and then come back to write, and then during the next break, switch them around, or what have you. It is always a combination of writing and productivity. Always, always. Yeah, they had to call the fire department on the earlier versions. Yeah. Sounds about right for nerdy engineer people, right? All right, so we have the Nightingale for today, which the main message is love is all around. All righty. I need to do a little bit of work in my bullet journal because I checked off a couple of things this morning. But anyway, Nightingale, here we go. Trumpet flower gramophone type situation. And our little bird with the crown on it. So love is all around. In the darkness of night, the nightingale sings her song of love and hope, a harbinger of dawn to remind you that the sun will rise again. You are so loved, and the illumination song of the nightingale calls you to a new level of self-awareness and a connection with the light. Yes, there is shadow and darkness, but love and prosperity exist everywhere, even in the seeming emptiness of space, darkness, and starless nights. Hearken to the message, letting the music of the nightingale's song remind you that love is all around. Feel it and trust it in tomorrow's light, renewing your ability to recognize the spaces that appear empty are in fact filled with love and abundance. Illumination will happen soon. So there we go. Always a good card. Becca says, oh, I needed to hear that. Last week was rough. I'm glad that the card resonates then. Very pretty card. Yes, it is. Two of Vessels reversed. Ooh, okay. So twos for me are always balanced. Cups or Vessels, emotional realm. Reversed usually indicates that something is very much not in balance in terms of like emotional, the emotional realm. So whether or not that is you have been taking on too much of other people's emotions, you have been letting your own emotions controlling you too much, you have not been doing enough to renew your own sort of like creativity or like letting yourself rest. If you have just been sort of like outpouring of emotions, or in the inverse, like keeping them too much bottled up. So balance of emotions could be an issue. So, in bulk, winter woodlands, take time to honor what you feel. Self-compassion is the healing balm that you desire. Ooh, so that along with your two of Vessels reversed. Self-compassion is the healing balm that you desire. Yeah, that would be like a need to do something to like be kinder to myself. For sure. Cool Gamer says, hey, hello, welcome. Diane says, the fun part of reorganizing books is that you find things you forgot you had. Yeah, usually when I start reorganizing my books, I find myself sitting on the floor, reading a book, looking for a particular passage. And then I get very, very distracted. Yeah. Which is why I'm like, do you want to do my books? But yeah, so. All right, we've done our card. I have a combination of things that I want to be doing today. I am going to be working a little bit. I do not anticipate a whole lot in my bullet journal today, but I do need to do a couple things. And then drafting and revising. So Bujo, drafting, revising. We'll see if the drafting and or revising comes first. Currently blowing bubbles in your chocolate milk like a real adult. Yes. We currently have one bottle left of Yoo-Hoo in the fridge. We got that for my dad's birthday. Yeah. So the end of January. We still have one left. So yeah. Nostalgia Lane. All right, let's do this. 1, save your document. Especially if you've already been working today. If not, now's a great time to pull up whatever it is you think you're going to be working on. Second is that you should take a sip of whatever it is that you are going to be hydrating with. So cheers. Three, straighten your spine or roll your shoulders back for that posture check. And 4, make sure that if you need a break, take a break. Here we go. 25 minutes in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay. I think mm, um okay, sorry, I was looking at the NaNoWriMo page. Because CB had asked if anybody knew anything. Um uh, had heard anything about it. All I did was I um went to NaNoWriMo, and then under writers resources there's the Camp Nano page. Um so they have what looks like a relatively generic like description of it, not necessarily like specific to 2024. But they do have a countdown towards this coming camp. um I don't know if they have released any new sort of like uh designs and what they call flair, like the things you post on social media. I've not seen any of that yet. Um, yeah, because this is still 2023. Um, but it does say that, it's 30 days, 11 hours, whatever. So maybe by tomorrow or the next day, they may update this to be the new camp event. I'm not real sure. Um, but anyway, there you go. That's what I know. I did not get much written in terms of um, the draft itself. I did do a little bit in the um, journal and all that kind of stuff, and then I got 279 words. So, alrighty. How'd you do? Um, the Rachel is here. You had to handle some errands and admin. You have tuna salad made for lunch and chicken coconut soup simmering for tonight. Lovely. But you're just now checking in, so hello to everybody. Brooke also says hi. Hello. Welcome. This is where CB asked about Camp Nano. Rachel says, if they don't have their own Camp Nano, I'll be doing my own version just to give myself a kick in the pants. Yes, there wasn't a big stink, and you may still be able to read on the pinned forum notes. Not real sure. CB says, I need to go scrounge up something for dinner, and I don't know what I'm going to have, but it will be likely something involving pasta. I'm thinking about a bowl of chili cheese fries again, although I may have to hold the cheese. I just have chili fries. I think I still have some like lentil chili instead of like regular kidney bean chili, or I don't know. We'll see. We'll have something. Becca says, you wrote about 500 new words in the book. Just writing the scenes. You'll insert them later. Yay. Megan says, I'm so impressed with how my post on the disability models is doing. I'm 4 views from hitting 100. Yay. Excellent. I was thinking about my writing process and trying to find ways to improve it. Lovely. Make sure you post the link for this again in the chat. So Um, do. Brooke says, I got some good work done. Yay. Excellent. Keiko did the dishes, ate dinner, and now dessert. Lovely. Yinjai says, I got through 2 customers during that session. It's nice to have a stream in the background while you're working. Yes, but you feel like you're not alone in the world. Kate is here, ready to write a couple of chapters today. Excellent. Good. Rachel says, I used the NaNoWriMo tools and the vibe and push from all the other author tubers and fellow writers, using it kind of like a meetup, but never used the actual forums, so you didn't know there was drama. Until it hits the Facebook gossip line, right? Yeah. That's what I don't know that I ever used the forums except for when I initially signed up and was like, oh, there are forums. What is here? And then immediately forgot about them. So I guess I'm just not the type of person to usually use the forums. I don't know. Anyway, so you can look up the 2023 NaNoWriMo controversy scandal thing. Essentially, one of the volunteer moderators for the young adult / children's juvenile minor forums was behaving very badly and should not have ever had moderator power. But because NaNoWriMo started as sort of just like this collective, like, oh, hey, let's get together, and then it became like more of a nonprofit type thing. People did not think about how you should vet moderators. It was just like, who wants to do it? And so now they are having to put into place background checks and all of these other things, and essentially treating them like you would a professional person interacting with children, which should have been done much earlier. But yeah, so that was the long and short of it. But yeah, so if you want to read about it, absolutely you can, so you can feel more in the know. I think they're trying to keep quiet about it until they actually figure out how they are going to move forward with regulations from now on, as well as like how they're going to prosecute or not, what can they do, that kind of thing. So yeah. Rachel says, hey, next round I will actually be able to write. Yay! Excellent. Yeah, the organization and the events you feel are still valid and a wonderful thing. Yes. It's just the problem. The problem is, like, if you're trying to get young people to write, and this was like one of your ways to do it, and then now you feel like you can't trust it, it becomes a thing. But yeah, hopefully once they decide how to prosecute, consequences, whatever, and like have a better vetting system, and then also are able to tell us exactly like how things wound up, that kind of stuff. Hopefully transparency will be a better for us and them moving forward. Let's see. Rachel says, I hope they figure this out. Me too. Me too. Megan says, I remember in high school, my junior year, teachers had us participate in Nano for extra credit if we wanted. Yeah, and I had the creative writing club that I helped run. I encouraged them to also do it. So it becomes a real concern if you interact with young writers, for sure. Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and get another stream or sprint, going. Let's do the Babbling Brook. So, second sprint is the self-promo sprint. So, if you have something you want to promote, please do so. This means that if you have a YouTube channel, Twitch channel, Etsy store, Amazon author page, website, blog, social media handles, etc., please make sure you tell us about your writing adjacent things, especially if you have a book out recently, book out soon, or book on sale. Let us know where we can find you and your work. Just remember that if you do not have a blue wrench of power, you will not be able to post direct links. There is that caveat. All right, now for your regular reminders. 1, save your document. 2, take a sip of whatever it is that you're hydrating with. I am done with my coffee, so I'm now back to water. Cheers. 3, straighten your spine. Roll your shoulders back for that posture check. Make sure you're not slouching too much. And 4, make sure that if you need a break, take a break. Here we go. 30 minutes in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay. How was that? I'm going to mark where I'm leaving off and see how much I did that sprint. 908 that time, which is good. Okay. So I can move one of my blue stickies. Excellent. Okay. We'll save. All righty. Don't forget that was the second sprint. So if you have your promo to do, please make sure you do so. Let's see. Megan says, are you interested in learning about the various disability models? Then do I have a post for you? And here's the link to the disability models post, where Megan mainly focuses on 3, but does give you several of the other main models at the end and some additional reading that you can check out as well. It's a good article. Megan says, or you can check out all the things that I do on the web. And here's the link tree for Megan. Let's see. Heather is here. Hello. Welcome. You had some parenting time this afternoon, but now you can work on some notes for Substack essay and the vlog about the Neurodivergent Publishing Conference. Excellent. Fiction Addictions. Love your username. Hey, joining in to participate in the productivity sprints. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. Megan says, also don't forget to hit the like button. That would be appreciated. Yes. Elizabeth is here. Hello. Welcome. Megan took the dogs out and wrote down your current writing process so you can find areas to improve. Excellent. CB is finishing dinner. It's meat-free Monday. Nice. Rachel says, I should be posting a new Medium article soon. If you like opinion pieces, writing articles, fiction, humor, and other things, here is Rachel's Medium link. You're welcome. Becca got another 300 words written on a new scene. Excellent. Heather says, for information regarding all of my editing services, I recently added developmental editing to the list. You can DM Heather at any of the social medias, and here is the link tree for Heather. Brooke says, I knocked out a bunch of slides on this online class that you're making. You might get ready to take a break at the gym soon. Nice. Megan says, I didn't realize that was the Neurodivergent Publishing Conference. I thought it was the other NPC, the non-playable character. Yeah, that's my initial, what it means. But then I knew that the publishing conference was this past weekend, and but it takes me a couple seconds to make the conversion in my brain. So Diane says, all books swapped out and somewhat organized. To anyone else, it probably looks the same. Yeah, no, I mean, that's always what happens when I move books around, because my shelves are full, with the exception of the occasional gap up here. So occasionally I will rearrange, and there may or may not be a gap. Like here, I filled it in with some other books because this is the McCaffrey shelf right here. This is McCaffrey. And then this side is Tamara Pierce. And then some of it spills over down here. And then I have another author over here. So it's but this is all McCaffrey. So I wanted to keep McCaffrey together. Yeah. So, and this shelf up here has 3 different author names, but it's all the same author. So yeah, so I have Jane Ann Krentz, Amanda Quick, and Jane Castle all up here because it's all the same author. And eventually she started doing crossovers between the series, and it's fantastic. Anyway, but yeah, so It's always confusing to anybody else who doesn't know where my where the books are. That's why it's like if my parents come and ask to borrow a book, because occasionally my dad wants to read one of the Anne McCaffreys that I have that he doesn't have a copy of, and so he doesn't necessarily know where it is. Or if my mom wants like a Nora Roberts or like a Jodie Thompson or like or Jodie Thomas. That kind of thing. Like she's like, "Can I borrow a book?" So I have to go find them for her because gotta fill the gaps. Yeah, I know. It's gotta fill the gaps. I usually like cover it with my head because I could always stick a plushie or something in there and that, different kind of fill. But yeah. Keiko is currently flabbergasted. Oh no. What happened? Green World is here. Hello. Good afternoon. Welcome. You love bookshelf tours. Thanks. I might have to eventually do one at some point, but yeah. I have most of my manga over here, and then some light novels, and then anthologies, and then randomly my Japanese textbook. Then I have some more light novels in front here that need to actually I need to make room over there, but yeah. Anyway. Keiko, okay, so this is why you're flabbergasted. A famous scientific German YouTuber has, as you had already suspected, made an experiment stating she would make her own party and go into politics, and for a week, all of the parties and newspapers have raved about it. And yesterday came her video about how it's an experiment that they did, and they shared some of the data and more explanation on what populism is and how much percent of the population has started to have anti-democratic thoughts and all of that. Yeah, that not surprising. Not surprising at all. But then a lot of our modern democracy is not quite what it is supposed to be. So, anyway, let's save the politics for later. Megan from Heather, let me know if you're interested in the Facebook group attached to the conference. CB says, I have a box behind the couch that's for my graphic novels, and then the shelves are reference/writing books. Which mangas? I have a couple. So I have all of W. Juliet. And I have all of Fruits Basket. And I have a couple of One Piece that I got while I worked at a bookstore a long time ago, and I would use my discount and all of my salary. So I've got some One Piece. I've got some Natsume Yujincho. I've got a couple of other random smaller series. Because once I started to realize how long series could go, I was like, do I really want to collect all of them, or do I just want to read them digitally? So, eventually I will probably have the entirety of One Piece, but that's for a much later date when I have many, many coupons and they go on sale. And I can buy a chunk at a time. So yeah. But anyway, so I have some of those. And then I have a couple of random light novels. And yeah. Anyway. I thought you would share because seeing the politicians' faces and all the stupid things the journalists write about. Well, I mean, I don't. I mean, they could have just studied what happened with his orangeness and how everybody thought it was a joke or experiment, or and then suddenly, anyway, again, leave my politics out of it. Diane says maybe 15 to 20% of yours are fiction. The rest are all reference. Oh, well, this is my fiction shelf situation. my nonfiction plus more of my fiction because it won't fit is over on I have a 3-foot wide bookshelf over. Is it 3 or 4? It might be a 4-foot wide. Anyway, either way, so I have more of my fiction and then all of my reference books over here. With the exception of I think there's 1 or 2 down in this very bottom shelf over on the brown bookcase back there. But yeah, so most of my fiction is back here with some exceptions. And then all of my reference pretty much is over this side. Still need to read One Piece. You're 15 years late. Always a Naruto girly. I mean, One Piece is amazing. One Piece is insane, but amazing. And it will take you some time to read, for sure. For sure. But I highly recommend it. One would think with so many reference books, I would be smarter. I mean, I don't think reference books necessarily equate to intelligence stats for a gaming term anyway. But yeah, same. CB says, I've got quite a few of the Babysitter Club graphic novels and a couple of Marvel ones. Nice. German publishing house refuses to print massive volumes for One Piece, stating that they will only do it after it's finished. So that's kind of fun. But yeah, so I have a couple of single volumes, but I feel like with the rate that I read, I probably should be buying the ones that are either 3 or 5 in one, even though I know that costs a little bit more. So it just depends on how I'm going to be able to find them. Plus, I do actually need to buy W. Juliet #1, volume 1. It was printed backwards from what it's supposed to be. So manga are supposed to be the they're bound the Japanese way, so that for a Westerner you start at the back, whatever. Anyway, but it was not bound correctly, so I need to get a replacement for that one. But yeah. Rachel says, I only have Fruits Basket and only the first 3 volumes because money. Yeah, no. And I have the original Fruits Basket. I also have Tsubasa, which is by the same mangaka. And Tsubasa is only 3 large volumes long, I think. Yeah, it's 3 large volumes. But you can see the entire progression of the mangaka's art style. That happens in those 3 volumes versus in here, it takes a little bit longer to notice, but it's a very it's a shift. But also it's the original Fruits Basket. I know that they are redoing the anime and the manga because it's a Fruits Basket 2.0 or something. Anyway, so I have the original one. And I don't know how I feel about the 2.0. I don't know how I feel about it. But yeah. Fruits Basket is so good. Yes. You've only watched the anime and you have been meaning to. Oh, the manga is so good. So good. And it gets. Yes. Okay. Anyway. Yes. So difficult for those of us who want to write about politics on the regular not to jump on a soapbox. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Talking politics is sometimes dangerous. Yeah. Oh, okay. So yeah, yours are more 80% fiction and 20% nonfiction. I want to say that mine are probably. So here's the thing. A lot of what I call my reference books are in fact collections of myths and legends and folktales and fairy tales. So it's do you count that as reference? Do you count it as fiction? So it's I have some that sort of straddle the line there. So, but I would say probably I'm like 65 to 75% fiction. Somewhere in that range. And then the rest is nonfiction. I'm trying to get through some of my nonfiction this year. And like that way I can decide if I'm going to keep it as a reference to come back to or just like donate it. So yeah, same. Yeah, talking about religion and talking about politics, make or break you. Anyway, Brooke says you're going to take a break and head to the gym, but thanks for the sprints. You got so much done. Yay. Yeah, Keiko says never talk about money, politics, or religion. It's what your grandparents always said. Yeah, there's definitely sort of like a generational, like, don't talk about these things. And then, the younger generations are like, why not? Anyway, Keiko says, I know I'm spoiled for Wano when you watched Murphy Napier's reviews on it and you're like, I missed this since this feeling since Naruto's finished. Yeah. Stacy says, I still haven't watched or read any anime or manga, unless you count Sailor Moon from the early 2000s, and you don't really. I mean, you could count that. That's fine. That's fine. Yeah. Suspect many of us are on the same page with politics. Probably. There is a time and a place. I do not believe it should be talked about anymore. Not talking about uncomfortable things that leads people into ignorance and trouble. Okay, yeah, you don't believe that people should just not talk about it at all because, yeah, then that leads to not knowing how to have discussions about it. Who needs intelligence when you have reference books to hold the knowledge for you? Oh, that's a good point. Yes. Diane says, probably my favorite book is the Wreck This Journal that you gave to the grandkids. They had too much fun, so you keep it on a shelf as a happy memory. Oh, that's cute. I love that. KK Chronicles, hello, welcome. Welcome. Let's see. Rachel says, I need to put all the rest of Fruits Basket, I think, on the wish list and make sure that each of your friend buys you. Yeah. I don't know if you can go to like half.com or so during the summertime, I know, and it comes along every couple of months, but like one or the other of the two main American mangaka publisher houses or whatever, one or the other of them will be on sale in the summertime. So they sort of like alternate. And it used to be like buy one, get one half price or, whatever. But now they're like 20% off or 10% off or whatever. So look for those sales at like the Barnes & Nobles and stuff. Barnes & Nobles, Books Million, wherever else you get your... I don't know if occasionally Amazon will put them on sale. I don't know. I don't know if most independent, smaller indie bookstores don't necessarily run that kind of sale that I have seen, but the big stores do. So in terms of the reference book, you've got several writing books and then some fandom sources. Nice. Yeah, apparently there is, or going to be. Keiko says, I read the manga, unfortunately incomplete, and in Manga Magazine we had years ago. They had every month a volume, and it was full with Japan-related stuff, manga and drawing, and chapters from mangas that were published by the same German publishing house. So you read a bunch of Fruits Basket in that magazine. Yeah. I mean, it's hard not to because there are so many references that you can use. So, Simi says you can just grab a book and check something and then mark it in the book, and then you can remember where what you needed to look up. Yeah. Yep. Stacy says, when talking to my family, I count my pagan books as reference, and I count my tarot and rune books as reference as well. I also have a shelf and a half for genealogy and history. Nice. And about 3 or 4 shelves for foreign languages. Ooh, nice. Yeah, I only have my Japanese textbooks. I don't have any of my French textbooks or my Spanish textbook any longer. That's just like out the wayside. I can only focus on one language at a time. CB says, I still have and use reference books just in case the internet should glitch. Yep. I think there are a lot of books that don't neatly fall into fiction or nonfiction because some are both and some are neither. Correct. Yes. In terms of Fruits Basket, no, it had a beautiful ending. Why did everyone have to make them? Yeah, I'm just kind of gonna ignore it that Fruits Basket 2.0 exists. So that's all I'm gonna say. When I was a kid, I had the graphic novel of the second Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, The Secret of the Ooze. Ooh. I just read the latest Laurel K. Hamilton book. Oh, okay. Sorry. I have opinions about this. This one had a bibliography, and some of the references were her other books because it was a long series. Yeah. I did not like the way that the relationship aspect evolved with Laurel K. Hamilton's books. I got so frustrated because it was not initially presented as this is going to be like a multiple partners situation. Not initially. And then it just kept it essentially became a Why Choose series. And I'm like, if I had known that that was going to be it, that would be fine. But also, like, if you're going to have a Why Choose, don't be angsty about it. Like, don't have your main character like angst over it for 6 and 7 books. Just have the Why Choose. It was so annoying to me because the main character was like, oh, I'm so torn between these guys. And then like you just keep adding guys. And I'm like, come on. Like if you're gonna be a Why Choose, just be a Why Choose. Yes. Okay, go. Why Choose. Reverse harem, if you will. One girl, many guys. So the premise of her character was interesting in terms of like but the relationship or lack of or angst over relationship really got under my I was just like I think by like the 5th or 6th book I was like, seriously, you're still angsting over this? Move on. I was so pissed. So I dropped it. Anyway, yeah. So that's my opinion on Laurel K. Hamilton. In that particular, the Anita Blake series. I think that's the character's name. Anyway. I've been chatting for way, way too long. I'm sorry. We're gonna do another sprint. We're gonna do another sprint. Same with Inkheart. Suddenly there's a book 4. You hated how the trilogy ended. Maybe the book 4 will fix it. Maybe. Hopefully you're as long as you like, don't angst over your characters' relationships for 8 books in a row, I think you're fine. Stacy says, I had set aside her books for a while, and the last few books have many partners, but it is now more about the relationships. Yeah. Sometimes what happens with series of books is they're ghost written, which is what happened to the original Babysitter's Club books. Yeah. Several of our relationships are Why Choose. The main characters are not, but they just happen to be. Reminds you of Diabolic Lovers. Gotcha. Yeah. If it's gonna be a Why Choose, just be a Why Choose. Don't be angsty about it. That's my opinion. Sometimes chats need to happen. They do. The last 2 books, which are really just one book, she's getting back to the roots of it. I think she got a lot of blowback on what yeah. Probably. I would not be surprised. CB DNF'd the Sweet Valley Twins and Sweet Valley High and University series, but you finished the Sweet Valley Kids. Gotcha. Megan is super excited for book 4 of the Inkheart. Keiko is not so much. Megan's like, I want a tattoo for the ink art. Elizabeth says, hey, I'm here for the chat, and it's boring to work without it. Very true. Very true. With the ghostwriting, the original premise is often changed. Yes, true. I'm always very surprised with like a series like Doctor Who. And if you're not into Doctor Who, that's fine. But because they switch writers every episode, or every like, couple of episodes or whatever, they switch writers in between, writers and producers. So like you would have like a Stephen Moffat, and then you would have like one of the other writers. Anyway, but the overarching story thread that still runs through, it's like how, I guess they got together and were like, hey, I need you to put this in the background, and make sure it gets in the camera shot at like this moment, or like, in this episode. And then you get things like the Bad Wolf and that storyline, and it's just so good. But I'm always very impressed when, because they were switching writers and whatnot, that thread never gets lost. And it's like so good. So good. Sorry, fandom. Let's see. Last sprint, you made some personal notes in regards to the Neurodivergent Publishing Conference and did promo here and in another space. No, I think they are classics. Stacy's like, Sweet Valley books had endings? ? Diane's like, who wants to work? I'd rather chat. Megan says, I got to meet Cornelia Funk, and she's just the greatest. 100 out of 100. I met Nora Roberts once, and like that's my claim to fame, is that I had my book signed by Nora Roberts. I've also met Sherilyn Kenyon. Mom went we went one time, she took me and a friend of mine to the Romance Writers of America convention in downtown Atlanta. And so we got to meet several of our authors there. And then I've been to the Decatur Book Festival, and Mom was like squeeing over Diana Gabaldon, who we'd gone to one of her talks. And, so it's like, yeah, if you go to these big old conferences, you can meet the big old authors. I think Mom was a little sad because I think it was Diana Palmer had stepped away from her table for a break, and so Mom missed her. But yeah. It's like you go back and forth about like, do you want to meet your heroes? Do you not? Do you want to meet your heroes? Do you not? And I overwhelmingly will be like, yes, meet them. Meet them. So anyway, Babysitters Club once had a group of ghostwriters, and it was quite obvious which ghostwriters it was. So people have a hard time not writing like themselves. True. And I think this happened also with Nancy Drew, Boxcar Children, Hardy Boys. There's one other one. I don't know if the Happy Hollisters had different ghostwriters or if it was one. Heather got a book signed by Timothy Zahn. Oh my gosh, he's one of my favorites too. Okay, sorry. It's like all the fandoms. You're horrible about enjoying the secondary plot more than the main plot. That's why the secondary plot exists. Now you want to rewatch Doctor Who, and maybe you can talk the hubby into it. Yes, do it. Yes. Oh my gosh, yes. Yes. So we're talking about fandoms, so at some point spoilers are going to be a thing. CB read a series of books that your mother read when she was a teen, The School at the Chalet books. I didn't finish the series because they're pretty much out of print, but they were so good. Stacy says, I have about 6 Sweet Valley High books on my shelf and 1 Sweet Valley Twins, a super mystery. I also have original run babysitting clubs from like 1 to 31. Nice. You've met Billy Collins, the poet, and Lemony Snicket, whatever his real name is. Fun. Yes. Yeah, it was very fun. It's very fun. Highly recommend. Sarah Lubrat got to do a signing of Christopher Paolini. Poor guy was signing like 600 books or something that day. Recommend watching her video on that. It's crazy, the dedication of that guy. Yeah. I've also seen, like, most of y'all probably know that Brandon Sanderson has a YouTube channel, and he will do chats while he is signing books, and it's just like nonstop for like 2 or 3 hours of him just signing book after book after book after book. It's insane. And I think I saw one of his posts where he was like in a warehouse and just signing as they were. I was like, holy cow. Yeah. One of these days we'll get there. We'll all get there. Stacy says, I also own most of the series Trixie Belden. Ooh, most people have not heard of them. It seems like vaguely familiar, but I don't know. This is where I saw Timothy Zahn's name and I got excited. Diane was laughing. Yeah, he's at Necro most years, actually. Ooh, nice. I might have to try then next year. Anyway, CB says, I have most of the Babysitter Club's books at one time, and then they started going out with the graphic novels. So you sent the originals to a charity shop and started getting the graphic novels instead. Nice. Stacy would love to find some original Roger Selany and the Chronicles of Amber. Ooh, that could be fun. It's sad when books get over. It is sad. Yeah. You were entirely disappointed that Nancy Drew is ghostwritten. I had done so much research on the author when you did your 4th grade book report, and it was last year that you learned it was ghostwritten. Yeah. It's like a betrayal. You've met Bret Hart, the wrestler. He's also very nice. Yeah, Brando Sando. Yes. Rachel says, dude, that's why I've stylized my signature to 2 letters so that when you hit it big, you won't get hand cramps. Right? That's also a very good thing to consider when you're creating your author signature. And also if you were considering a pen name, like what's easy to sign. Stacy says, that's the nice thing about Trixie Belden. They said that when the author switched, there were like 3 of them. Oh, okay. Yeah. You feel hiring a ghostwriter is almost as bad as letting AI write your work for you and taking the credit, only almost seeing as hopefully the ghostwriter gets paid. Yeah, well, hopefully the ghostwriter gets paid, but also if there never was an original author, if it was just the publishing house going like, hey, we've got these authors, and we can get more done if we, like in a series, if we ask them to each write one, so that then we can have like very specific gaps in publishing, very intentional like series publishing, to sort of share the load. It's kind of like co-writing, I guess, but if you're doing, each one of you has like a story. So I don't know that I feel that like ghostwriting is cheating necessarily in terms of like a big series. In terms of like most of Hollywood biographies and stuff are ghostwritten. And like that's just kind of understood, I think. But yeah. So I don't know. I don't necessarily feel that like ghostwriting in terms of like a big series is as long as there is no like quote unquote original author. But yeah, so you have a long family name. Don't know what to do. Oh no, probably a pen name. Maybe a pen name. Yeah. Jess is here. Hello, welcome. We're just at this point, we're just kind of chatting about books and fandoms and um, all of that fun stuff. Megan says, I've done ghostwriting before, but I'll never admit to what I've written. Ha ha. It's also because you probably signed an NDA. Yes. Yes, Nancy Drew, Hardy Boys. I'm pretty sure Boxcar Children as well, but I'm not entirely. Most of those super long kids series were ghostwritten, and they sort of like the publishing houses had like a stable of in-house authors that they just like pop between. So yeah, but they all got like the brand name, I guess, of the author rather than like the actual author's name. So you've met the super vet. He's nice too, but he's quite shy. Is this another wrestler? As much as you loathe the woman who wrote them, I don't think the Potter books are written. No, they're not. I don't think so. Some big authors actually boost their ghostwriters and work very closely with them. James Patterson, for instance, did not know he had ghostwriters, but it kind of makes sense with how much, like how prolific his name has become. Co-writing is what he calls it. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. Ghostwriting is when someone writes the manuscript and it is put under someone else's name. Michelle, is it Shoemeister here on YouTube? Yes. So I will send you to her channel. This is Michelle's channel. Schusterman. She has quite a few videos explaining what a ghostwriter is, how she does it, etc., etc. But yeah, it's essentially when someone gets paid or contracted to write the manuscript that will then be published under someone else's name. So it's like Hollywood authors who like put out autobiographies. They don't really do it themselves. They hire someone to write it for them, and then they put it under their name. You think that's how it was with the Babysitters Club? Anne M. Martin had the original concept, and then the publishing house had a group of authors. Yeah. No NDAs. It's just embarrassing. Oh no. In terms of like what you've ghostwritten. Oh no. I'm sure. You never read the Mallory Taylor books, but you had the other books. Professor Noel Fitzpatrick is an Irish vet known as the Bionic Vet. Oh, interesting. Gertrude Chandler Warner wrote the first 19 Boxcar Children books, but then it was taken over by ghostwriters. Okay, gotcha. You love the books. Me too. Me too. Yes. So here is Michelle Schusterman's channel. Make sure you check her out. Stacy says many of V.C. Andrews' books were ghostwritten after her death from her notes. Gotcha. Besides Michelle, who else? There's who else has talked about it? Is it Marissa? I want to say Marissa. Okay, I can't. There's a couple of people on AuthorTube who have done ghostwriting and have admitted it and have talked about it. But anyway, so there's definitely some other people that you can check out too. You have the whole Nancy Drew, the whole. Wow. You should take them out of storage and display them again. Yeah. Yes, yes. Basically, someone comes up with an idea for a story or a nonfiction piece, but but they don't have the skill to write it. They hire someone else to do it, but keep their name on it. Yeah. Stacy says, I liked book 31. It has an orange cover. It has the first, if not the last, it was the first, if not the last, two-part book. One was written from Dawn's POV and the other from Mary Ann's. Nice. Kara Brown has recently started ghostwriting, but I don't think she's talking much about it. Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay, we're going to do another sprint because we only did 2 sprints. So we're going to do another sprint, and it'll be a 30-minute sprint. I think I'll just rewind the Dawdling book timer, and we'll just use that again. And I'm going to try and find who else I was thinking of, but I can't remember off the top of my head. I'll figure it out though. Anyway, so we're going to do one more sprint. So 1, save your document. Also during this sprint, I will put up a poll as to whether or not you want a 5-minute cleaning sprint after this writing sprint. So there we go. Anyway, 1, save your document. 2, make sure you take a sip of whatever it is that you are hydrating with. Cheers. 3, straighten your spine, roll your shoulders back for that posture check. And 4, make sure that if you need a break, take a break. Here we go. 30 minutes in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, that was the end of sprint number 3. How'd we do? Marking where I'm leading off. Scrolling up to 1198. Okay, very nice. I can now move my second sticky for today. Fantastic. We'll save it though. All right. Let's see. I had to check Instagram to find the name. It was Marissa, but I was spelling it incorrectly. Marissa Mohi was who I was remembering, but she seems to have deleted all of her channel content. She still has a website. She still has an Instagram. I'm just not sure how much she could find then of what she has talked about in terms of ghostwriting or not. But yeah. I don't remember exactly. I may be imagining or remembering wrong, and that she was gonna just be taking more time for herself, for her family, and just to like write offline instead of doing content. But I could be, but I don't remember that for sure. So I don't know. You only watched Princess Bride for the first time over the weekend. Did you love it? I hope you loved it. CB says, I've got the DVD, but I've never actually watched it. You should watch it. You should watch it. Diane says, what? What did you think? Diane says, I already knew so many quotations. It is a very quotable movie for sure. For sure. Let's see. So CB was asking, should Tony Stark be a Star Trek nerd or a Star Wars nerd? He said, I'm going to say Star Wars nerd because I don't know the first thing about Star Trek. Honestly, I think it would be the opposite. I think because Star Trek was one of the first shows that tried to take current science to its plausible next few steps and make something that might be like scientifically possible for like the ship and for things like that and for like communications. And so I would think that Tony Stark, being like the engineer madman that he is, would, I think, be more Star Trek. But you do what you want. Diane says, we've been going around quoting it randomly ever since. As you wish. Inconceivable. Yes, Andre the Giant is in it. Yes. I don't think that word means what you think it does. Stacy also votes for Trek. Yeah. Alrighty. Well, I'm going to end the poll. And it was essentially a 70-30 in favor of yes, having a cleaning sprint. CB says, yeah, maybe that means I'm going to have to watch some Star Trek, and you're not a Trekkie. If you don't want to watch entire like seasons or something, you probably could find a YouTube video or two from like Watch Mojo or whatever, summarizing like, the top 10 like tech things in Star Trek or, things like that. So I would say maybe like watch a synopsis YouTube video instead of like having to watch the whole series, unless you want to watch the whole series, in which case more power to you. Heather agrees in terms of the Trek situation. Rachel says, I need to rewatch The Princess Bride soon. If you have The Princess Bride, maybe choose The Princess Bride for this week's movie night. So, or Star Wars, or Star Trek, or Fruits Basket, or Doctor Who. What else have we talked about today? I don't think Babysitter's Club had any movies, but I think the Boxcar Children has some sort of show, or have it now. Might be an animated thing. I don't know. Star Trek: The Next Generation and Deep Space Nine for the win. You got dragged to see Star Trek 6 when you were 6, and you hated every second of it. Oh no. Yeah, reaction videos might be a good intro, for sure. Yeah. There was a Babysitter's Club movie, and it came out in 1995. Well, there you go then. You can always watch that. As your fandom of all the things. Yeah, so many choices, says Rachel. So many choices. All right, let's go ahead and do a clean / tidy sprint. Here it is. All right, so again, if you have not seen this, I think most of you have seen this by now, but if you have not seen this particular timer, things are going to disappear and then reappear in a much more organized fashion, because that's what this timer is all about, is cleaning your desk or area. So again, don't be surprised if things in the timer move or disappear, because they are meant to. All right, y'all. 1, save your documents. 2, take a sip. Cheers. 3, straighten your spine, roll your shoulders back for that posture check. And 4, make sure that if you need a break, take a break. Here we go. 5 minutes in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. All right. Hopefully that helped clean your desk and clear away some things, tidy some things, or get a few more words. Hopefully that was the right amount of time for a quick little clean. Alrighty, y'all. That's going to be it for me today. I am going to be able to move to my stickies today, which is perfect. That's what I wanted. I also have lint on my shoulder, apparently. So yeah. So don't forget to save before you go. Make sure that you stay hydrated. Make sure that you stretch every once in a while. Get a snack if you need one. All that kind of stuff. Thanks for the fandom talks, and I will see y'all soon. I have this next week scheduled out, so I will see y'all on Wednesday if I don't see you in the chats before then. Thanks, y'all. Bye.